Right, as promised, setting this made in Japan square up. Yeah. Right, it's stripped down quite easily. I didn't really want to go and do an uber long video because watching somebody take screws off a scratch plate and unbolting in there, taking strings off, quite honestly, it's not riveting viewing, is it really? I don't find it great fun. I like watching videos where the guitar's been worked on and set up. So I've done the real legwork. I've cleaned it as well. It needed a damn good clean. I use obviously a cloth and also this stuff here. This is not advertising, but Dunlop 65 guitar polish. So I've just generally given it a good clean up. It didn't need too much. The worst part of it was taking the strings off. They were just absolutely awful. So what I've done then is taken the scratch plate off. I've taken the photographs and I'll put those up for your viewing now. You can have a look and see the ceramic pickups and the pots as well. They're 250k pots, large pots. This is 67, it says on there. I don't think it's the year of the pots, is it? Not unless the pots are so blinking old. They were made in 1967. I don't know. Answers please in the box below. If you got one of these and you know what that number is, please let me know. Okay, so what did I do to the neck? Well, essentially I straightened it, and I straightened it by, I'll just come up to here. The truss rod adjustment is in this part of the neck heel. And you go right to take relief out, in other words, straighten the neck, and you go left to put relief back in. Now this did have quite a lot of relief in it, so I placed my screwdriver there, trusty screwdriver, give it a tweak, then checked it. I'll just show you what I use. This straight edge ruler here. There you go. Get yourself a notched straight edge and you put that down on your fretboard, and then we see no daylight whatsoever between that and the frets the actual neck itself. You know the neck is straight. Now we want a straight neck because what we want to do then is go across with your fret rocker. Now I've been across with a fret rocker and lo and behold, no high frets, which I'm rather pleased about because even though I do fret work, I'm quite happy to do fret work. It's laborious, and that means you've got to go and polish them and recrown them and all the other wonderful stuff that goes with doing fret work. So trust me, I've been through it and no high frets at all. Nothing of any great concern on there. So the neck is good, pleased about that. I've done a bit of a tidy up on the nut and cleaned some of the gunk out of there. I might have to do a bit more, and I think what's happened is somebody's put some graphite in there with the idea of more graphite in there. It makes it a lot smoother for the strings to go through there, so reduces the amount of friction. In other words, it should hold tune better. The string trees on here, I've got a plan for those. I've got some tusk nuts on, some tusk string trees on order. Yeah, it won't make it original, but it should make it a lot more tuning stability. The tuners themselves, these Fender tuners, are very smooth, very nice. I've just tightened the screws at the end of those, just got a little tweak, some are a little bit loose. So really that's just a couple of basic things I've done to this at the moment. I think the big thing here really is the fact that we've got this problem here with the grub screws. I will bring it up, see if we can get a good close up on this. And hopefully you can see. I hope, if you can't really see it, if I look when I'm editing the video and it doesn't really show up how high those are and how little movement there is now on the actual saddles themselves, which is quite key when you come to do an adjustment to get the right height and the right first sort of 12th fret action on your strings. So you want it as low as comfortable but not having buzzing, because I have tested and checked that is a 7¼ inch radius neck, so it's very vintage style. So yes, what I do need to do, I need to do the cavity shielding. It's not cavity shielded, again I'll show you a picture coming up now. And a nice picture here as well, I should have showed you before. You've got a nice large block there. So with that being a nice large block, we shouldn't need to do any modifications, I don't think at all, and change anything on the trim at all. I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah, the pickguard is solid and sound, the pickups were okay, and good old switch cleaner. Whack those into all the pots. Again, I shouldn't need to show you it, it's just a question of taking the top off, plugging it into the there and squirting aerosol inside the pots and also inside the switch. Again, not particularly difficult. It's not rocket science. It's not something which anybody should be afraid of. This is not difficult work. This is just take your time, watch as many YouTube videos as you can where people set these things up, and you can learn a lot. So really the main thing now is reassembling this. I am going to take a real punt on this, and I'm going to put a shim in. So I think it's going to need a shim. Now it's not going to be a big problem if I have to take the shim out. It's quite easy to do with the strings on. I've done a couple of other guitars I've had to do it in the past. But my hunch is I'm going to have to shim it because I think these bridge saddles, even though I've got some not saddles, the grub screws themselves, I've got some replacement grub screws. I've not tested whether they go in there yet. So I'd rather not go down that route. So I'm going to stop the video, I'm going to make a shim, and I'm going to shim it and put the neck on. But before I do that, actually, I'm going to screen the cavity. Now that is a long, very laborious process. I've got the tape here somewhere. There you go, I've got the tape. And I could use shielding paint, but I don't like shielding paint, it gets messy. But this is more difficult to work with, but I think Film McKnight did a little thing on this, and I think copy shielding comes out a bit more favourable. And as you can see in there, when I show you the picture, it's an SSS under there anyway, so very fiddly, time consuming, but I think well worth it because it should reduce the amount of noise that these ceramic pickups produce. Interested to see what it sounds like when I get it all back together and played and set up and tuned. Quite looking forward to it. So let me go away and do the copy shielding. I'll put a shim on the neck. I'll put the neck back on again, and then I'll go through how I restring my guitars, tune it up, stretch them in, and then with a bit of luck we can hear this with some very basic chords. And yeah, looking forward to doing it. So I'll be back in, this will take me quite a while to do, so I don't expect to be back too quickly. But as far as this video is concerned, it's going to be seconds. Well, I've adjusted the camera. I really do hope this makes some sense. So what I do with the strings, I've fed 2 of the strings through. I take the string right up to the tuning peg. I put it back 1 fret. Okay. But what I do, I now feed it through, because I do also one thing, I align all the holes the same way to make life a bit easier. So I now fed through, I'm just got to go back to the bridge, make sure it's completely pulled through. So it's now fed through the post, and I pull the string back 1 fret. Lift the string, now on my fret winder, I'm going to start turning the direction you want the tuner to go. So what happens is the top of the string goes over the waist of the string. And what you do, you then push it down and feed it under the waist as it comes round. So what it does is essentially the top part of that string wind traps the string that's gone through the tuner in between those 2 pieces. So the idea, it really just forms a lock. Pull the slack off and then tighten the string, just keeping pressure down there so it's nice and tight. And what I'll do is now clip or snip the end of the waist off as close as I can get. I don't like to see any waste, the minimum amount of waste, so that you've got nothing there annoying. And all I'll do actually is just have a quick clean of the nut slot there, and that's it. Now I'm using some nice little rotor sounds I've got, so that's what I've got at the moment. Sometimes I use Didarios, rotor sounds, early balls, whatever deal I can get. I'm not string specific really, I'm price specific. So here comes the G string, and again pulling it through the bridge all the way up here, putting it through the tuning post, going back 1 fret, holding the string in position, holding it up with my handy little string winder, and start turning and making sure the string goes over the bit that's been passed through the tuner. Now I'm going to flick that up like that, and now I'm going to make sure the string goes underneath that. So it creates what they call a lock, the up and over method. Two people I know for certain who use this is Sam Deeks and the glorious, wonderful Dave Simpson. Also uses their technique, and the idea is to form a lock on the string, and hopefully it should reduce any sort of idea of the string slipping really. Bring it up to some sort of pitch, and if you noticed, I've also put it underneath the string retainer, which is going to get replaced by a tusk nut. I keep saying a tusk string retainer. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to snip as close as I can. I see so many people leave a quarter of an inch. My God, if you catch your finger on that, it really does hurt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest. You don't need to see me do all of them because that really is, well, it's not necessary. And it'll be restrung and then I'll come back to you. See you in a minute or so. Sorry, you didn't see my fingers then, did you? There you go. Well, there you go, completed, set up, plays really well. Yeah, so I finished off doing the strings, tuned them up, intonation was spot on. What I have done is changed some of the grub screws in here. I didn't have to do anything to the neck. After I straightened it, strung it up, the relief in there is spot on with how I like it. Tuner's great, the neck is really nice and comfortable to play on. No scratchy itchy pots. The switch is nice as well. And one thing about this trem as well, there you go, you can see the big block there. But I've also straightened the springs and the bridge is now decked, so it's not floating at all. String action height, just below 1.5 here, just above 1.5 on the lower reed. So following the radius, which is a 7/4 inch, it plays absolutely beautifully. I can't believe how nice this is to play. The neck is gorgeous. Now I've always steered away from 7/4 because of string bending. No problems at all with this. Yeah, my mate Rod, he did point out that this 7-inch, or sort of 7/4, should I say, I'm lost for words. It's such a good guitar to play. Minor detractor is just a little bit of fret wear on the cowboy end here. Not enough to affect the way it plays though. Plays superbly. I'm really pleased with it. I'm so glad now I've got myself an 80s made in Japan Squire. Yeah, I think if it's been a Fender, you could probably add a little bit of extra money on top. But no, I'm happy with this. It's exactly what I wanted. It plays so well. Sounds stratty. Still stretching the strings in, so if it goes out of tune, yeah, we'll just have to carry on stretching them in. Right, that's it. Finished. I'm done. I've got my 80 Strat. What more can I want? I'm so pleased. Yeah. Thanks, Rod, once again, for getting me to go and buy this guitar. So, anybody got any questions down the bottom there? Ram your blinking comments on there. Tell me you don't set your guitars up this way, or yes, you set your guitars up this way, or go and make a suggestion which I could improve things. I'm always open to suggestions. In between time, I'm going to go and enjoy this. I'm going to jam the hell out of this. I might even do a track on this and just to indulge myself. One last look, here it is. What an absolute cracker. Probably one of my nicest Strats, would you believe it? I've got a few. Yeah. Take it easy. Take very good care. Hope to see you again soon. Yes. Yes, yes.